India has a problem most countries would envy and dread. It is now the most populous nation on Earth, with hundreds of millions of people needing jobs. But its manufacturing sector is too small, its factories too scattered, and its logistics among the slowest and most expensive in the world. To compete with China as the world's factory, India needs something it has never had: a purpose-built industrial spine. So it is building one, 1,500 kilometers long, connecting Delhi to Mumbai at a cost of $100 billion. The Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor is India's largest infrastructure project ever attempted. Along a single line running through 6 states, India is building brand new smart cities from empty land. A dedicated freight railway, new ports, new airports, and industrial zones designed to pull global manufacturing away from China and into India. It is dozens of mega projects stitched into a single economic machine. At its heart is a city built from nothing, designed for 2 million people on land that was until recently empty salt flats. This is how India is trying to build its industrial future from scratch. To understand the corridor, you have to understand what's holding India back. Please take a moment to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel. India wants to be the world's factory. It has the workforce, the wages, and the ambition. But it has a logistics problem that quietly strangles its manufacturing. Logistics costs have historically eaten up around 13 to 14% of the value of goods. And even after recent improvements, they remain well above the 7 to 8% typical of developed economies. Every product made in India carries that cost baked in. The reasons are structural. Factories are scattered rather than clustered. Roads are congested. And critically, India's railways were built to move people, not cargo. Freight trains share tracks with passenger trains. So goods trains constantly stop, wait, and crawl, averaging speeds as low as 25 kilometers per hour. For a nation trying to compete with China's hyper-efficient logistics, this is a fundamental handicap. The Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor is designed to fix all of it at once, not by upgrading the old system, but by building an entirely new one alongside it. The backbone of the entire corridor is a single piece of infrastructure: the Western Dedicated Freight Corridor. This is a railway built for one purpose only: moving cargo. No passenger trains, no sharing tracks. Just freight, running on dedicated lines between the Delhi region and the ports near Mumbai. And as of March 2026, after nearly 2 decades of construction, it is finally complete. The last 102-kilometer stretch connecting the line to Jawaharlal Nehru Port, India's busiest container gateway, was commissioned at the end of March, making the full 1,506-kilometer corridor operational end-to-end for the first time. The difference is enormous. The line is designed for speeds up to 100 kilometers per hour, against an old network average of just 25. Trains pull double-stacked containers hauled by high-power locomotives carrying far heavier loads than the old tracks allowed. A journey that once took days can now be measured in hours. And for manufacturers, that speed is money. Every day a container sits on a slow train is a day of capital locked up as inventory. Even before this final section opened, India's freight corridors were already handling around 400 trains a day. This freight railway is the spine that makes everything else possible. Every industrial city, every manufacturing zone along the corridor connects to it. A factory built anywhere along the route gets fast, cheap, reliable access to India's ports, and through them, to global markets. The corridor was launched in 2008 in partnership with Japan, which committed billions in loans and technical expertise, modeled loosely on its own Tokyo-Osaka industrial belt. But the corridor is far more than a railway. Its most ambitious element is the construction of entirely new cities. Along the 1,500-kilometer route, India is building a series of greenfield industrial cities. Planned from zero on empty land, rather than grown organically over centuries. The master plan envisions roughly 24 industrial nodes across 6 states, developed in phases, each designed as a self-contained manufacturing ecosystem with power, water, roads, and plug-and-play plots, ready for factories to move in. The flagship is Dholera in Gujarat. Dholera is being built on what was essentially empty salt-flat land, designed to eventually house over 2 million people. A city larger than many world capitals, constructed entirely from scratch. It was laid out before anyone moved in. Underground utilities, a planned road grid, a central infrastructure spine. And in 2026, it stopped being a blueprint. Structural work on India's first semiconductor fabrication plant, a Tata facility planned to produce around 50,000 wafers a month, is complete, with clean room installation and machinery move-in underway and trial production expected by late 2026. In June, the first trial aircraft landed at Dholera's new Greenfield International Airport. A city that did not exist a decade ago is now positioning itself as the center of India's chip industry. Other nodes are advancing too. Shendra Bidkin in Maharashtra, drawing electronics and automotive investment, and industrial zones near Greater Noida feeding the Delhi region. The scale is staggering. The corridor's influence area covers 436,000 square kilometers, nearly 14% of India's land area. The stated goals: double employment, triple industrial output, quadruple exports in the region. But announcing a $100 billion corridor and building it are very different things. The DMIC was launched in 2008. Its first phase was originally meant to be complete by 2019. Today, the railway spine is finished. But the wider corridor is still very much a work in progress, with some nodes operational, others under construction, others barely started. The delays come down to the same obstacles that slow every mega project in India. Land acquisition is the biggest. Building new cities means assembling vast tracts of land from thousands of individual owners. A single holdout, a single court case, a single protest can stall an entire node for years. Then there is coordination. The corridor runs through 6 states, each governed separately, with different priorities and capacity. Aligning them behind one national vision is a governance challenge as large as the engineering. And there is the fundamental question every greenfield city faces. Will the factories actually come? Global manufacturers already have a name for what India is chasing: the China Plus One strategy, keeping China but adding a second production base elsewhere. The problem is that India is not the only candidate. Vietnam, Thailand, and Mexico are competing for the same factories. The corridor is India's case for being the plus one, and every year of delay is a year those factories can settle somewhere else. Some are arriving: semiconductor plants, electronics manufacturers, automotive suppliers. But the corridor's ultimate success depends on that bet paying off at scale, across decades. The Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor is not a bridge you can photograph or a dam you can stand beneath. It is an attempt to build the physical foundation of an entire industrial economy, all at once, along a single line across India. A freight railway, now complete, moving cargo at multiples of the old speed. 24 industrial cities rising from empty land. A flagship smart city designed for 2 million people on former salt flats, already producing test landings and soon, computer chips. If it works, it will reshape where the world's products are made and lift hundreds of millions of Indians in the process. If it stalls, it will be the most expensive, unfinished map in India's history. For now, it is both, partly built, partly promised, moving at the pace of a country racing its own obstacles. If China built the world's factory over 40 years, India is trying to build its own in a single generation.